I was trying to figure out how to go live on TikTok, but TikTok makes you have 10,000 followers before they'll let you stream, before they let you go live. So that sucks. But we're out here we're gonna go get that 10,000. Okay, well, let's do this podcast, huh? Now I need to. Oh, this would be good if I had like um if I could just play my podcast intro song right here and then it would officially start. Because I gotta edit that in here somehow. All right. Let's do this thing. Well, it's been too long, hasn't it, since we've done the podcast. In fact, how long has it been? Let's find out. I think it was August was the last episode. Yeah, August 8th. August 8th was The Moral Animal, the first episode of The Moral Animal. And that book was brutal. I don't think I got past the first few chapters from that episode. And I got a lot of explaining to do, but that's why I'm doing this podcast, this episode. I'm here to come clean. And you know what? How did I used to do this? So I don't want to be too distracted, but I've got the chat up in my video, so I'm going to stare at myself pretty much. But yeah, I got to come clean about a lot of stuff. It's been since August, so it's been 4 months. Jeez, dude, 4 months of no podcast and no blog. But I gotta, I got a lot. I got a lot to explain. Got a lot to go over. So first, I want to say I haven't stopped thinking about doing I haven't stopped thinking about the podcast since my last episode. And this I do remember. I liked to hide how many people are viewing, but I don't know if Streamlabs is going to let me do that. It does on the other app because that's too distracting for me. I just sit and stare at that how many people are viewing number, and I don't like that. I need to hide that. It's actually very important. And I should have figured this out before I started the episode, but too late and too bad, huh? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to deal with it this time. But listen, this is what I'm here to explain. It's been 4 months and a lot has changed in my life. So what I'm gonna do today, what this episode is, it might not even be an hour, it might just be a few minutes. But I'm just recommitting myself because here's what happened. Here's how my life has been for the last few months. I got really sick. My colitis got really bad, got really out of control. I fired my employee and so I'm back to work full time. I went back to school. So I'm a full-time student again at university. That's wild. And what else has been going on? I'm building a garage on my house. I mean, life has been crazy for me and I've loved it. But it's taken me away from this. And the truth is I could have always kept doing this but I didn't. I stopped. I paused. I got really discouraged by the last book, The Moral Animal, because it was such a hard read. But then I found out I was talking to my girlfriend about how I can get better at doing the podcast or what direction I should go and A, B, and C. And she kind of nudged me. You should go back to school and you should get a degree because Well, you should just be a smart person, go be educated in a field and talk about it on your podcast to get some credentials and X, Y, and Z. So I looked into my transcript for school, and I was one semester away from getting my associate's degree before I dropped out. But it's also been kind of depressing because my grades are really bad. My grades were really bad when I was going to school several years ago. So I was really hesitant, but you know what? I bit the bullet. I decided to retake a couple courses, finish. So this is what I did. I had to retake history because I got a C minus in history, so they wouldn't take the credit. I had to take this class, this library class to learn how to use the library and research papers and shit. And then I'm also taking philosophy 10 10, or maybe it's just 1000, philosophy 1010, and anthropology 1020, which is a little emphasis on biological anthropology. But what's cool is I never would have guessed to take those classes if I wasn't studying, if I wasn't already reading these books, if I wasn't already doing the podcast. It was through the podcast that I got really interested in everything. You know what I mean? Oh, is this where I hide the? No, it's not. I really wish I knew how to hide that number. Keeps going up from 3 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 3. And I just stare at it because I want 10,000 viewers, because you know what? I think I don't know if I said already, but I tried to stream to TikTok, and TikTok makes me have 10,000. Your requirement is to have 10,000 followers before they let you do TikTok live, unfortunately. But I think there's probably ways around it. But anyway, I'm so glad I am doing I did the podcast and I read the books, because it gave me a really good idea of what I want to study, the kind of things that I'm actually interested in. It's made school this go around so pleasant. Truthfully, it's made school so pleasant. Next week is finals week, and we're doing great, man. We're doing great. We're doing way better this go around than we were. When did I drop out? Like 2019 or 18, maybe. So it's been a lot of years, man. It's been 5 years, I think. I think it was 2018 was my last semester, fall 2018, and I want to keep going. I want to be a smart person, man. I want to see for this whole semester. I've gotten, what's so cool is a lot of it is really familiar. Like the philosophy class, most of the philosophy class has just been kind of a recap of shit that I've read in the past. Anthropology is cool. And this biological anthropology is cool because it's unique, but the concept of who, what makes humans human, and why we behave the way we behave, what makes us different from other animals and mammals, but talking about it in the biological context. It's been so insightful. It's been so awesome. It's been so interesting. And I was talking to my mom earlier today. So for the last 4 months, I've wondered what the hell I'm gonna do, because I don't have my problem is what they tell you at the beginning of the semester is, I think for every credit hour that you're enrolled, you should expect to do 3 hours of homework every week. And so this semester I've done 10 credit hours. Philosophy, anthropology, and history are 3 credit hours each, and then this library class is 1. So 30 hours of homework a week, air quotes. But that includes lectures, the online lectures, and the assigned reading, and then the homework. And all of my classes are online except for one. The anthropology class is in person. But yeah, I've spent about that time doing homework and lectures, and it's really hard actually. But the way I've gotten around it is now I'm working full time again, back in the van, and I download the lectures on my phone, and I listen to the lectures, sometimes several times while I'm working, and I download the textbooks and I listen to the textbooks. And then, articles that we're supposed to read, I end up coming home and reading those in the evening. So I'm consuming way more content than I was even when I was just doing the podcast. And it's all really, really focused content too. But the issue is it's not very exciting to talk about, but maybe it is. And that's what I was told myself that it wasn't. But over the last 4 months, I've sent my mom's such a great supporter. She wants to read all of my papers. And so I've sent her a few and we've talked about a few. And today she said that I ought to just post them on my blog or talk about them on my podcast because it's good content. It's good material. And I've thought about that. I thought about, instead of reading the books and reading books like I have been for the podcast and then talking about the material, I should just do that with the textbooks and shit that I'm reading. Because it's the same thing kind of, but again, it's a little more focused. But I've fought against it because I think it's boring. But I've kind of had a change of heart. So today when I was talking to my mom, I got really inspired to commit to my podcast again and to my blog. Because I want to be I get what's been funny is the last little while, instead of putting on music or putting on a podcast when I shower or I'm getting ready or cleaning the house, I will turn on some TikTok live guys. There's a few guys that just sit on TikTok live all day and debate people or talk to people mostly about religion and philosophy. And those are the big ones. And then I just let those play while I do my thing, while I shower or while I make dinner or while I'm driving to and from jobs and, in between textbooks. And I love it. And so I thought, God, now I want to do that too. I want to be one of those. I just want to engage with people. But then I learned you need to have 10,000 followers. And maybe I'm not doing it right. I think there's got to be a way around it, because that seems like a pretty tough requirement to get started. But I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe I think it kind of forces or filters out content creators to the ones that take it seriously. Because if everyone could just go live and sit there and do nothing, then it's a big problem. So just limiting access to who can go live to those with so many followers. But I also saw you can subscribe to some kind of like content coaches. I don't know, man. And maybe I should, if I want to take this more serious again, the podcast and the blog, I should get all the help that I can get. But again, I mean, this episode again is supposed to be more about me talking about the last few months of my life. That's the future. I'm going to sort out the future at some point. So I'm back to school, and school was, the podcast is what inspired school, and now school is inspiring the podcast again. And I want to be able to do all of it. The problem is there's never enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do or that anyone wants to do. It's tough because I'm still out here trying to get 8.5 hours of sleep. That shit still feels good and is needed. It's necessary for me. But beside that, I'm just strapped. You can see behind me, I got my music stand because I put the guitar down for a little while. Now I'm trying to pick it back up again. I downloaded Duolingo so I can learn Spanish, because we're going to Costa Rica, so I want to learn Spanish. And if you're watching, you can see I've got a beard now. Shit, dude, I've got a big old fluffy beard, not just a little mustache. I got a big ass beard. Life has changed a ton. So that's school, dude. I'm loving school. I think school and the content that comes from school is going to fuel the content for these podcasts now instead of books. I'm kind of one thing too that I realized is this is really important to me. One of the most valuable parts of the podcast to me has been to break down the content or the material that I'm reading. So I would read a book, but I would regurgitate, and I've said this before, I would regurgitate it several times. I'll read it and then I'll write about it and then I'll talk about it and then I'll make TikToks or little videos about it. I'm going over the material several times and then it sticks and then I think about it instead of it just disappearing. I mean, some of the books that we've covered have stuck with me and I use them, I reference them in my daily life all the time. So I know it's a really valuable thing to consume the material, but then to regurgitate it several times to really digest it. And I'm using a lot of GI terms because I'm going to talk about my GI here soon. But yeah, it's super valuable. So I know I want to keep doing this, but more than almost maybe more than that, I've realized not because my life is any more special than anyone else's. I really like the aspect of the podcast being like a blog, like a diary where I talk about my life. And even to nobody, like there's nobody there's nobody live with me right now. So it's not like I'm here for a bunch of people and a bunch of money. I am still, believe it or not, I am still getting a lot of downloads on all of my podcast episodes. Jesus, I have not looked at this in so long, but like several hundred downloads on all of my episodes. I feel so lucky, and I'm so mad at myself for pausing. Um, yeah, dude, this is so awesome. So I feel lucky that I put in over 2 years worth of work into the podcast, and I've got a long ways to go. And if I want to take content creation serious, and that's what so this okay. So one thing I've thought about is why the hell would anybody want to be a content creator? And I don't think it's because like nobody's that special. Nobody's that special where their opinion is so much more valuable than somebody else's. Nobody's that special. And everybody can do it. Anybody can buy a stupid microphone and a camera and upload something to the internet. Everybody can do it. Like I don't think so it's I I think it's dumb. I've really wanted to. I think it's kind of an ego thing. I really wanted to be like most people like everyone likes to be recognized or to feel like they're contributing something important to the world and that other people find their shit valuable. I feel that way anyway. Maybe there's some of you that can relate to that. I like the idea of what the work that I put in is valuable and useful to somebody else. And or entertaining too. Like you can just play video games online now and your shit can be really entertaining. I want to contribute something meaningful and valuable for the consumer, but I don't do it in a unique way. So like I'm not going to be a super popular uh podcaster or content creator. So part of my resolve to get back to recommit to my podcast is mostly to make it like a diary. And that's what I'm gonna probably call it now. I'll probably keep it as book club with Kate and Kelly. I don't know, but it's gonna be more like a diary. I'm not gonna have a book to talk about a new book every week or several episodes. Maybe I will. I did just finish another book, a book called The Atheist Mind and Humanist Heart by John Figdor and Lex Friedman. Nope, not Lex Friedman. Lex something else. Lex Bayer. I don't remember. Let me Google it because they deserve the shout out. Atheist Mind, Humanist Heart by John Figdor and Lex Bayer. Yeah, Bayer. So I'm going to delete this now. Yeah. Yeah. I did just finish reading that. I should do a review of it because it was an awesome book. And I actually found it because part of the library class was to pick a topic that's important to me and then to do research on it and to find articles and, a bunch of just busy school homework. But part of that course, I found that book and I love that book. So cool. Anyway, let's move on. School's awesome. I'm excited. I'm already registered for spring 2024. And again, it's going to take all of my time. But the cool thing, what I'm so excited about is I'm done with my gen eds. At the end of the semester, I'll have my gen eds done and I'll be able to focus on my major, which is not a traditional major. What I'm trying to enroll in at Weber State is the interdisciplinary studies program, which is instead of getting a major and a minor, you get 3 minors. So I'm working on philosophy, anthropology, and psychology. And I'm so excited because next semester I'm taking 2 other philosophy classes, 2 anthropology classes, and I have to redo my psych. I don't have to. I'm redoing my psych 1010 course because again, I took that in fucking 6 years ago or something and got like a C, and it's just I feel so dumb that's how serious I took school. Yeah, so I'm going to redo that psych class, but I'm so excited to take. I think I'm taking an ethics and morals philosophy class. I should pull it up because it's worth it. This is what we're doing on this motherfucking podcast, right? So register for classes. I'm pretty sure one of the philosophy classes is on ethics. One of the anthropology classes, because this semester it was full, I'm taking the introduction to anthropology. Yes. Okay. So I'm taking intro to anthropology, and then I'm also taking peoples and cultures of the world. What's the full title? Details, description. No, but it's abbreviated. I don't really know. I don't know what the title is. A survey of cultures around the world exploring their similarities and differences as observed by anthropologists. Cool. The intro to psychology I'm redoing. Yes. And then I'm doing contemporary moral problems of philosophy. So not ethics, but contemporary moral problems. And I'm also doing a critical thinking philosophy class. And I'm just thrilled, dude. It's weird, but I'm so thrilled. So that's next semester. And I mean, podcast episodes they're just going to be about those. There's going to be an opportunity for me to digest that material, to share it. So maybe that all of you that listen will find something beneficial out of it. Now, let me move on just briefly. I want to talk about my stomach because, dude, my colitis has been so bad. And for like the last year, I think I talked about it briefly on my podcast every now and then when I would have flares, but starting in like early October. Well, I had a flare like at the end of July, probably around the time the last episode was posted. But the flares have become so much more frequent and severe, and they're just it's ruining my quality of life. So I got a colonoscopy a few weeks ago, and I've been seeing my GI doctor, and we've been talking about taking long-term medicine, man. I got to take. So right now the plan is to take Entyvio because I've been taking prednisone since this last flare in October, which is it's a steroid. It's a very it's not like high risk, but it's not an easy drug on the body. And it usually works really well, but what's so wild is it's not working. It's hardly working at all for me this last flare session. So when I got my colonoscopy, I was like a few weeks into the prednisone. And usually in the past, when I get a flare, I'll take the prednisone, and within a day, it's gone. Like I'm back to 100% within a day or two. But this last round, it took about 3 or 4 weeks to even kick in a little bit. So just like continued to be sick. So I got the colonoscopy while I was sick, and the doctor said that it's like the inflammation wasn't severe because of the prednisone, but the fact that there's any inflammation with the prednisone is really alarming. Is how he described it. So yeah, I've had to come to terms with being a sick person like in great detail this last week or this last couple months. And we've known for a while that I'm sick, that I'm a sick person, but I've tried so hard to just be totally on my own as far as my recovery goes, thinking that I can control it with my lifestyle and diet and prevent the flares. But dude, some people's have success. Some people but it's not. What I'm learning is success or failure of remission for these uh, bowel diseases is just pure chance, essentially pure chance. Unless I will always feel better when I eat better and exercise and sleep properly. But even if I'm perfect at those things, I'm not guaranteed to not have flares. You know what I mean? People people like me are kind of they just happen. They just happen out of nowhere. No matter how healthy or disciplined I am, um, it comes and goes. And for some reason, it started a year ago, started last October, the flares started becoming very frequent and very severe, and they've just gotten worse and over time. So yeah, I'm trying to get set up to get started on this Entyvio, and I've been really hesitant to, when I found out 5 years ago that I was sick, I really didn't want to do any medicine. I wanted to take care of it on my own, and it's come and gone several times in the past, but I'm up against the wall right now. I feel like that anyway, and I found a lot of comfort in my personal philosophy. I'm really grateful for the philosophy that I've developed over time by doing the podcast and reading books, and the life advice that I've received from this material to I'm also like kind of having a conversation with a chick on Reddit that's suicidal because I'm learning how to use Reddit still. I've had it for a few years, but I've just recently made an effort to be involved because there's lots of cool subreddits like this self-improvement subreddit, Debate and Atheist. I love reading these posts. So there's this chick on the self-improvement one that's like, I've tried detachment, but I'm still depressed. And I'm trying to explain how Jay Shetty described detachment. Because it's one of the most profound things that I've learned is pure detachment is not a life void of meaning or feelings or relationships, but it's one that's full of all of those things. But what you're detached from is the outcomes from the effort that you put in, right? So the example in the book that he uses is you should be detached from even the relationships that you have with your spouse and your kids, and you should give your all to those people that are most important to you. You should give your all to your spouse and your kids, but you shouldn't do it with the idea that they owe you anything in return. Detachment is doing those things regardless, or without expecting any reciprocation. That's true detachment. So I've I thought of this because with my health, I can only get my 8.5 hours of sleep and go to the gym and eat, and like I could be perfect, but I'm not. But what more that I can do is take medicine, man. I got to take medicine. And you know what happens? Sometimes it doesn't work. Some people that with these kinds of diseases, take the medicine and nothing happens. And they try another one and they try another one and then nothing works. And so they end up getting their colon cut out. But all I can do is the best I can do. And I think that, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if this medicine is going to be successful or not? Of course, we hope that it is. But all I can do is be responsible, be open with my doctor, show up to my doctor's appointments, get the colonoscopy every 2 years, get other cancer screenings. And because the whole point of the colonoscopy now is to see if the medicine is reducing inflammation in my colon, or if any growths are developing, because those growths, the polyps, are more likely to grow in an inflamed colon, I think. And those polyps are what turn cancerous. That's how you get colon cancer. And so how you avoid it is you get screened regularly and you take the medicine to reduce the inflammation. So all I can do is the best I can do. And that's the whole point. I've been sick. I've been sick for 5 years. I've been really sick for the last year. I've been really, really sick for the last 3 months, 2 months. And I want to be responsible for my long-term health. I want to grow old into my 90s and 100s. Like Peter Attia describes. I want to feel good. I want to do what I want to do. I want to be independent and strong and reliable. So that's where I've been with my health. 2 months ago, I got my weight dropped to I think I got down to 160, 165, which is significant because right now I weigh about 185, right? I'm a super beefcake right now. Super, because I'm not training for none of these races either. I'm not doing any Spartans. So I'm just fucking lifting. I'm not doing yoga anymore. I'm torn about not doing yoga. Because on one hand, I love yoga. I love how it makes me feel. I love the meditation aspect. It's a dedicated practice. Feels good on my joints, but I also fucked up my knee. Remember that? Like a year ago? Fucked up my knee pretty bad from yoga. That was wild. I thought I tore my ACL or my MCL or something. I love yoga, but on the other hand, I also love to read my books. And I'm still trying to read physical copies instead of do audiobooks. I'm doing audiobooks for the textbooks to get the grade, right? To get a good grade and to understand the content so I can take the tests and shit, to the assignments. But this Atheist Mind book this is what I do is now, instead of alternating mornings between gym and yoga and pickleball, I alternate my mornings between gym and reading. So I spend an hour and a half every other morning reading the books that I want to read, and not schoolwork, not homework. And I love it. I'm not doing the note cards. The note cards were awesome, but that was kind of a crapshoot at the time. If I was a more dedicated writer, I love the value of it. I love the note cards that I have. I should. Wow, I haven't thought about the note cards very much lately, but I should get back into the note cards because those things are so valuable. But I haven't been writing. I'll probably post some of my favorite papers that I wrote throughout this last semester on my blog. But yeah, work is great too. So work has been awesome in the sense that I'm saving a ton of money. It was really expensive having an employee, and with all of the upgrades that we're making, like I bought a new car. We're building a garage. That's not cheap. Just lots of upgrades around the house, and being full-time in the van again has made all of this shit more affordable. Got one of my buddies has moved in with me. Haby Moon has moved he's moved into the crib. Cause it's tough out there on those streets. It's tough to rent in Salt Lake City, even a studio apartment. I can't remember what he was paying, like $1,500 a month for a studio. So, having his rent has made things very affordable. It's more affordable for him to live here and then having him in this house because just me and my girlfriend, this house is too big for the two of us. With the three of us, it's perfect. When there were four of us in here, it was tight. Three is the right amount of people. He's right next door. I think yeah, I was recording episodes while I was here. Yeah, we knew this. We knew this. Shit. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, man. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be healthy right now. I'm lucky to feel good right now cuz man, I don't feel good sometimes, and when I don't feel good it hits hard. But I'm lucky to have my health, um my this education that I'm working on, my job. I'm really lucky in a lot of ways. My family's doing well. My girlfriend's doing well. My friends, life's just great in a lot of ways. And for a lot of people, again, it's not great for a lot of people. And I try to be really aware that the holidays feel special. They're nice. They're fun. You get vacations. You get presents. You go see family and X, Y, and Z. But for some people, it's a really sad time of year. And some people have had loved ones pass, or some people feel ostracized from their family, or some people feel excluded in their communities around the holidays. And holidays are hard for a lot of people. Try to be really aware of that. So I feel really lucky that for the most part, it's all a really peaceful, pleasant experience, pleasant time for me. I feel lucky that way. And I hope that you find the peace and the love and support that you need to get through and to enjoy the holidays, however you enjoy them. But that's it, man. I wanted to do a little catching up with you, with my few listeners. If I want to do TikTok live every day, I want to be one of those guys, but I can't, and that's fine. I should collaborate with some of my, some of these other streamers. I met a cool streamer a few weeks ago she plays Souls games and chats, and she's really cool. Yeah, I gotta figure out how if I'm gonna go all the way in on the podcast again, or if I'm gonna just do this for just I don't want to half-ass it though. That's one thing. I don't want to show up once every 3 months and apologize every time I do. So Monday nights, is that going to be the move? Because I got to work now, and I'm going to the gym and reading in the mornings. I'm not getting up at 5:30 anymore. I'm getting up at like 6. Well, I guess when I was going to yoga, I was getting up at 5. We're not getting up at 5. We're getting up at 6 because now we do homework a little later into the evenings. Because I still need my 8.5 hours, baby. I can't live without 8.5 hours of sleep. That's just facts. So I think we're gonna do Monday nights, and it's gonna be more like a diary. It's gonna be like a blog. I'm streaming it live to YouTube and Facebook and Twitch again, where I had stopped doing that in the past because I wanted to focus on my notes from the books that I was reading. But now I want to have the stream live chat on, so anyone can pop in and say hi or ask questions or do whatever they want. And I got to figure out, yeah, I got to build up my content creation team, because I need to post on TikTok every day to get 10,000 followers so I can go on TikTok live. So if any of you know how to do all of this, hit up your boy, hit me up. I need a lot of help. I always need a lot of help. And at some point I am going to clean up my room behind me. But we've just finished cleaning up and moving downstairs. Now the house is really comfy. This is the last room in the house that needs the TLC. So, okay, I think I'm going to wrap this up though. So next week, I don't know, plan on next week. We'll see you then. Otherwise, have a great week. We got a couple weeks till Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday traditions you adhere to. Enjoy them. And oh yeah, see, here we go. Cardama wants to play Siege. I know, it's time. I don't play any video games anymore. I really don't. And I did a few weeks ago. I played I played the new Call of Duty for a few hours. Well, not a few hours. I played over the weekend. I played about 8 to 10 hours. And it's brutal, man. I love it. But that's a lot of time that I just really don't have. So, but I'll make time for Siege with the boy Cardama at some point. We'll do it. I re-downloaded it for you, so I'm committed. I just need to do it. So anyway, for all of you who've listened in the past and are coming back, I'm so excited that I've contributed something to you that's made you stick around and come back for more episodes. I hope that I can continue to create something meaningful or inspirational to you. Because like I've said so many times, this podcast is for me primarily. I have to do it for myself first. But I hope that what I'm doing for myself is beneficial for all of you as well. And if any of you are new, if this is the first time you've joined book club, then welcome, because this is like chapter 3 for book club. Chapter 1 was like my whole Mormon journey, and then chapter 2 was book club, and now we're chapter 3, which is like this diary section. I'm also glad book club is back. Cardama, we'll see how it goes for the next few months, but we're committing to it. One episode at a time. You'll find it you'll find the live on Twitch and Facebook and YouTube like normal, and all the episodes will be posted at some point throughout the week on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and all of those places as well. So we got options. We've always had options. And I've got the blog is still up and running, and the social medias are still up and running. Although again, nothing has gotten any new content in the last few months, but we're going to turn that around, baby. All right. That's it. That's all I got to say. I got no outro. I don't know how to end this because I don't have my music anymore. So I'm just going to hit end. Have a good night.